bath time.
Oh,
you're right.
Yeah, it's Friday night. We're still number one, and we're extremely well organised. It's the Manchester United agenda. Good evening and happy holidays to everyone watching. I'm not very good at pressing buttons, so I asked Mr. B to do them for me, and I misunderstood what he said. So that's why there was a pause at the beginning. I wasn't like recharging or anything. But gentlemen, how are we?
Yeah,
I'll let OMONDI go first.
Yeah, good. Thanks. I went to the theatre yesterday, as we did. It was date night. We were asked to. Went to the theatre. My friend done a show. It was like a production. I don't know if anyone remembers Grange Hill, and Mr. B might remember this. There's a guy called Clark who made Grange Hill, black boy, from years ago. You'd look him up, Clark. His name's Darren Kojo, but he was doing this production, and my other friend Wayne was in it as well, who's going to come onto the show. Really good stuff. It was all done in a form of rap. They rapped every single word was rapping, and it was really good. Really audience participation as well. It was only a small theatre, but it was a really good night. Had a great time, and I'm back.
And Mr. B, what has life thrown at you today?
This week, I don't think I've been so cold. And today just dropped. Honestly, it started last week Saturday, and then every day this week it's been cold. Today I wrapped up, and I was still cold. So yeah, my only thing is it's been really cold today. I don't care how cold it is tomorrow, because I'm not playing. So I will wrap up. So yeah, let the cold wind blow, because I will be prepared for the next 2 days. But I'm good, man. I'm looking forward to this one.
Have you got a winter jacket?
I got a winter jacket. I got a hoodie, bro. But obviously, I walk around. I can't keep all of these things on, or I end up not wanting to leave the van. You know what I mean?
You can't keep these things on. You're a stripper.
Yeah, I would be the
music.
I would be the brokest stripper, bro. You seen this? The brokest stripper. Yeah, I'd be the. Listen, no, I'd be so broke. I wouldn't even eat no food. So no, I'm not a stripper. Bath time. I'm a van delivery driver.
Yeah, I've always wondered, like, who tells a stripper that it's time to retire? Like, it must be a very difficult conversation. Like,
male or female,
either. Like, how do you
start
tell
dropping?
someone
I
you're
suppose,
no
isn't
longer
it? When the bits start dropping, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
When
you don't get bookings anymore, But there's someone always loves you, no matter how.
There's a market for everybody, man.
Yeah.
Skinny man, tall man, no face man.
Exactly. The marketplace is big these days, and they cater for everybody. So if you want someone who's out of shape and got a dad's body like me, just hook me up, I'm available. Bath time. How are you? And have you got a winter jacket? Because it's colder up north, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, I do have a winter jacket, and it's very cold, but it's December, isn't it? Yeah, like I've been cold all week, but unfortunately, I also went to the theatre last night, and I stayed up far too late and got too drunk. Big up Magic Mike.
What did you see? Was it Magic? It was Magic Mike, was it?
No, unfortunately not. It was a Christmas carol. There was no audience participation. I'd have much preferred to have gone to a pantomime so I could have shouted stuff. But then I went and I got far too drunk with the cast afterwards, and it's been a difficult day. But I don't think anyone really cares. So let's see who's in the house. And the first person we've got in is DK Wilson, who's saying, "Good evening, fellas." It's Solo, who's saying, "Good evening, everyone." DK Wilson, "Evening to all who joined the chat." And then we got Big G, as always, saying, "Evening, lads." And looks like Bath Time has been watching Magic Mike. Well, that sounds like that makes two of us, Big G. You're a big fan of Magic Mike, are you? But anyway, we've got a big show for you guys tonight, as we're playing Newcastle at the most ridiculous time tomorrow. It's 8 o'clock kickoff, isn't it?
8 o'clock kickoff.
It's just ridiculous. And speaking of ridiculous things, it's Anthony Herbert.
Did you like that one, Andy? Did you like that one?
Big up. He's good for it. He's good for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anthony's a top guy.
Yeah.
All right. Should we look at what we got on the show tonight, boys and girls? I can't hear you.
He's behind you.
Oh, right. So tonight's show, we've got a ridiculous story about a chicken, Ten Hag backing his man, some stuff about Newcastle United, the solo 11, and I've also got a bit overboard with tactics tonight, so we'll liven that up with some score predictions.
Ready to rock and roll?
Our first story, Omondi, is Manchester United are being investigated over serving raw chicken at Old Trafford that has led to several people complaining of salmonella and food poisoning. It's just ridiculous.
Raw chicken.
Raw chicken. So, yeah.
You know, raw chicken is actually, you know what it actually means? Don't they mean sort of chicken that's not cooked well enough? They don't actually mean raw chicken, do they?
Well, I assume that it's at least been warmed up. There weren't live chickens running around. They went, go on, help yourself. The only live Rocky. Chickens are on the pitch.
Rocky, go grab that chicken. If it's yours, you can have it. You can eat it.
And Nana wants them legs for his goalpost. Yeah, probably was.
There's a new training drill in it for the players. Give it a bit more mobility.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that this is just another ridiculous story about how just stupid that United are. But we're actually in problems with our 5-star hygiene license, which is another issue that happens at Old Trafford. There's rats running around. You got rubble falling on people. There's no TVs. The toilets are flooded. It's not nice, is it, Mr. B, to have a football club that is this ridiculous, that they're out serving raw chickens at functions.
Bath time, when I heard it, I'll be honest, I thought it was the players. I'll be honest, I was so scared. I spoke to you and you said, I said, oh, Jesus Christ. So I thought it was the players maybe had it at lunch and that we were going to be seeing, we were hearing that, Mainoo was injured. Bruno was sick down with salmonella. This is what I was waiting for. When I found out it was some prawn brigade thing, I'm not being funny. Oh, unlucky for you lot, but it doesn't affect the game tomorrow. So yeah, unlucky. They should have checked what they were eating first, because I'm poking my chicken. I'm not just stuffing it in my mouth, and if it doesn't look edible, I'm not eating it. So more fool them for eating their food blindly, to be fair.
Once, do you remember what Shinji Kawa? What was his name on Monday? The Japanese fella from Dortmund that we signed, Shinji Kawa.
Kawa, yeah.
He had the strangest injury ever, where Moisey said that he wasn't available for a game because he'd had too big a dinner and wasn't in any condition to play. It's just ridiculous, right?
Kagawa, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, did you like him?
Yeah, I thought he's a brilliant player. You need to utilize. It's like certain players we have to learn to utilize to get the best out of them. And he's one of those sort of players, like Angel Gomez, Kagawa. They're sort of players that can be effective, but sometimes in the British game they're too small. They're not going to be effective, and sometimes the game will bypass them, and then people complain. But really, when you look at them in the right place, in the right environment, they can really ball. And he was doing it at Dortmund, and as you go and see, Angel Gomez is doing it at Lille right now. Yeah,
he's a bit of a sort of Donny van der Beek, wasn't he? Everyone loved him, but he never really sort of got much game time.
Amonde still loves him.
Do you?
Angel Gomez.
Shinji. No, Shinji.
Sorry. I thought you were talking about Angel Gomez. Sorry.
No, he adores Angel Gomez. But anyway, we got Ed Mayhem saying, big up, guys.
Big up, Ed.
Big G saying it's probably the best time to play Newcastle United with their injuries. And Anthony saying, I'll have the sweet and sour chicken, but cook the chicken, please. And then Ed is saying, tomorrow headline, local farmer complains of missing chickens near ground. I hope that's not the headline tomorrow. That sounds like Ten Hag talking about our football team. Is it the food or the type of football we are playing that is sickening? Very good. Yeah.
Big G.
And then Ed Mayhem saying it's Kagawa. Don't be choking the chick. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Listen, but they don't go, man. You've told some whoppers on here.
A bit more subtle than that, but choking the chicken. I mean, come on. I would say, talk about chicken. I went to a Turkish restaurant last night. Honestly, we came out of the theatre and we were in Shoreditch and we were hungry. And the first thing we come across was one of these Turkish restaurants. Went in there and the missus got 4 chicken wings on a skewer, and I got some lamb on a skewer. The chicken wings were delicious, and it only seemed like they were cooked for like 5 minutes, but they came out fresh. And I do, like Mr. B was saying earlier, as black men, we like to season our chicken and wash it first, season our chicken, and we have to look inside to make sure it's cooked properly. So you guys take a lesson. If you're a Man United fan, you're going to these games and you're eating raw food like this, you should check the chicken first, make sure it's seasoned, make sure it's cooked nicely, like the Turks do, because the Turks cook up a nice barbecue. By the way, I just want to say big up to the Aston Villa burger bar that got yesterday. Did you hear about that? The game against Legia Warsaw, and they were throwing like mayonnaise. All the Polish fans wouldn't get into the stadium, so they attacked the burger bar at Aston Villa, and they had to batten down the hatches, and they're throwing mayonnaise and burgers and hot dogs at them. So yeah, we think we got problems. We'll see what's going on down at Villa.
Well, I like the fact, Monday, that you've given us like sort of chicken recipes, but also revealed that you steal people's food because you were having lamb, not chicken.
Yeah, I did. I took most of her chicken. Yeah.
Yeah. And did you investigate it before you eat it?
I choked it. Yeah.
Oh, Monday. Right. Enough of this. Okay. Speaking of someone who's been choking a lot recently, Ten Hag's been talking about Onana.
Good one.
Gee.
And in his press conference, he said, if you analyse it, well, then you see he's the second best goalkeeper in the Premier League based on stats. So his expected defending goals is the second best in the Premier League, Ten Hag said. He's doing well. Also, he knows that in the Champions League, he makes some mistakes, but all over, you see, the first 5 months, he is doing particularly well. Boys, what do we think of this guff coming out of Ten Hag's mouth? Start with you, Mr. B. You like calling people liars.
Well, I said it's blatantly obvious that he's lying. Stats-wise, obviously, Omondi, I'm with Omondi on this one. I will use an eye test. The fact that he's probably had 50 shots to save more than everybody else is probably why his shot percentage is so high. Nobody has a problem with how much shots he saves. It's the muff-ups that he does. You know, it's the ones... I mean, you look at that one yesterday, it looks like he dived the ball and he tried to save it with his fist. You know, what are you doing? You're a goalie. Don't you have hands and fingers? Isn't that what it's for? You know, so I don't understand. The fact that he's also said he makes some mistakes in the Champions League. At least it's acknowledging, because after none of the games, all he's saying is it's team. No, it's your shit goalie. I play with a shit goalie week in, week out some weeks, and it's not funny. You know, you break your ass to do a defense, and then you give away, not even give away, it's thrown in the net by Onana's incompetence. So I'm glad he's backing his boy. Obviously he can't come out and say he's been absolute shit, but Onana needs to step up, man, because he's cost us in the Champions League. Look how much goals we've scored. How much goals have we scored in our Champions League run? We said, oh, we don't score goals. We score goals. We just gift the team other goals that they don't have to work for at the other end.
I mean, Omondi, you know them films where someone gets sprayed with like liquid nitrogen and their arms just sort of crumble into little bits of ice? this is kind of how I see Onana at the moment. He's not doing like the basics well enough, and it looks like he doesn't even have the technique to be like a top level goalkeeper. Can I have some positivity from you? Can you reassure me that Onana isn't another dud in a long, long line of goalkeeping duds?
Yeah, both you and Mr. B are right. I mean, those free kicks, the one where he tried to punch it, you should just claim that. That's just standard bread and butter for most goalkeepers. And it is, you're right, Bathtime, it's the fundamentals that you think, what's going on here? There was a claim a few weeks ago that he can't shot stop, and then he started to prove them wrong. The manager also said in the press conference that the last time he made a howler in the Champions League, he came back stronger in the league against Burnley. Which hopefully was a good omen for us. They will return. Basically saying he made a howler, he held his hands up, and he came back and showed the confidence.
His fist up.
Yes, his fist, his lame little fist that he punches balls away with. And he put his hands up and said, look, I'm responsible for this. And he came back and delivered. And if you go in, look, if you talk about the second best goalkeeper in the league based on stats, we might not think so because he's getting like pelters at the moment for his mistakes. There's a cost for him. You have to remember, we got rid of the David De Gea to bring in a goalkeeper that was supposed to expand our play and was everything. A 10 Hag goalkeeper, someone who help us bring the ball out from the back and give us a new dimension of play. And he has done well with his distribution. We see that already. You saw what he can do. He comes out really quite high off his line and is really composed on the ball and pops it around and gives us a bit of composure at the back. But it is the shot stopping, those two free kicks, shocking. And also his positioning for the third goal that they scored. I felt he should have covered that near the near post. But, I would say, yeah, of course.
Wow.
I have to say, I think that was a world-class goal. I think that maybe in 10 years, Mainoo defends that a bit better because there's a little bit too much separation. But the touch and the shot, I think that's world-class, isn't it? Yeah,
the touch and the shot are world-class, but you don't beat a world-class, so-called a top-class goalkeeper on the near post like that. You, as a goalkeeper, as you used to know this anyway, you cover your angles. You should always know roughly where the post is so you can position yourself correctly to avoid getting beaten in the near post. That's the most embarrassing thing as a goalkeeper. So he should have shuffled himself over while he saw the play, everything can play, shuffled himself over and said, let me cover this angle because the only way I can get beat here if he goes into the top bins the other side, not this side, because that's the nearest place to me. So I'm disappointed with that. I think that's a poor goalkeeping there, not covering his angles, not allowing the ball to be shot into the near post like that. You should just claim it and we play on. And I'm not going to blame Kobe Mainoo. I did have a look at that a few times. Said, is Kobe to blame for that, for the run? He went with the guy. It's just the guy had a great first touch. And you have to be careful because you want to let that little hesitation where you pause, say, right, is he going to run offside? All right, I can go with him, or I've got the pace to get with him. And he did get with him, close enough. But it's just one of those things. I'm not blaming Kobe for that.
No, I'm not blaming Kobe for it. It's just I know a more experienced like midfielder like gets his shoulder as they're coming over. But I mean, he's a teenager, and you can't expect him to play like he's a 30-year-old. Like remember like Pirlo. He only started playing in the Pirlo role in his 30s. It's like it's a really difficult position. But I'm interested about what you say about the near post because if you look at like Giggsy against Arsenal after his wonder goal, he goes near post. And I've always had a theory that Kylian Mbappe shoots near post a hell of a lot of the time. And the other man who used to do it a lot was Cavani.
Yeah.
No, Cavani and Mbappe, I think, played together. So I think that sometimes, like, I mean, I'm a terrible finisher, but you do give the keeper the eyes and go near post, like, a lot.
It reminds me of, I don't remember where Ronaldo scored a hat-trick against us, Brazilian Ronaldo at Old Trafford. His third goal, he took the ball, similar, got away from Rio Ferdinand, touch, and beat Barthez on the near post. Similar goal to what we saw the other day, the third goal for Turkey. And I'm disappointed. Barthez should be saving that, even though it's a hat trick and walking away like that, and he got the round of applause when he came off the pitch. To me, that shouldn't be a goal. You've got to cover those angles there. So disappointed. All 3 goals. I do blame Onana, but I think we should stick with him because the manager backs him. He is playing well in the Premiership as well, and I think he's shown character enough. When Taibbi made those mistakes, and maybe he didn't show enough Fergie enough character. That's why he was dropped after that. If you Schmeichel's made so many mistakes. He's been dinked and lobbed so many times. He's made stupid errors in the past, but he's got the character to come back. And I think goalkeepers are unique because they're either nutty, really batty, as Mr. B was saying earlier, or they have to be a big presence or something like that. They're really wacky goalkeepers, and I think we've got that element of that in with Onana. Even though he's made the mistakes, I think now that he realizes, okay, all eyes on me. I need to turn this around, and I need to just get back to the fundamentals, the basics. And he's still going to give us a heart attack throughout the rest of the season, and as long as he's at the club, I do think we need to back him because we can't get into this Calamity James kind of thing where we miss him for everything. Let's just analyze it, break it down. Yes, free kick. It was his fault. I remember Rivaldo when we played Barcelona 2-2, 3-3. Rivaldo scored a free kick like that where Schmeichel was wrong-footed, and people say, "Well, why didn't you just dive?" But you get wrong-footed by things like that. You anticipate, don't you? Because you think it's going to go over the wall, and you make that one.
You cannot compare that Rivaldo free kick to the ones that were in.
I can. I've just compared Ronaldo to that goal.
I know.
I've compared Rivaldo to this one. Go and check it out after the show, guys, on YouTube, and tell me they're not similar, if not the same.
All right, let's go to the comments. The people we're here to serve. Pranay is back. It's Friday night, Pranay. We conceded 14 goals in 5 Champions League games. It's peak. And then Given Loser is saying good show as usual, fellas. Thank you very much. And UK Strains is in the house. Evening panel and the chat. Swap keepers, Mr. B. Onana might do a good job for Mr. B's team.
That's true. Good one.
And Pranay is saying, tell me how it is possible that when Onana makes a proper save, it looks awkward too. It's probably because he's got a poor goalkeeping technique, I would imagine, or an unorthodox one, if you're being generous. Bath time, Onana will come good. He just overthinking. All right, I'll trust you on that, Given Loser. And I like this one a lot. Can't back a man that thinks the Luton goalkeeper is the best goalkeeper in the Premier League, going on that stat. So Onana is the number 2 best keeper off Ten Hag stats, but it's your man at Luton who's the best one.
Sorry. Please tell me that's a wind-up.
That's a fact.
I don't think it is.
It's true. But can I just throw in something just to balance this argument out? He's got most clean sheets, equal most clean sheets as well. Don't forget.
David De Gea had a lot of clean sheets yesterday, and in one game he conceded 7. In a couple of games, I'm sure he conceded 6. So let's not get it twisted. Let's not get into. Oh my god!
And we're still on course to come third based on our points from last season. We're still
at the moment. We're still on course to finish top on Monday.
Yeah, you are terminally positive, Omondi. It's a treble year in your view. All right. Given Loser is saying the last 5 games, Onana has faced over 75 shots. The whole team needs to do better. And we got Jeff back. Big up all in chat and these wild men on the panel. By indoor in, Mainoo and Amrabat double pivot.
Too short.
Andrew's here saying good evening, boys. And I'm sorry to tell you, Andrew, there's a lot of tactics coming later. Not a revisionist. I said it in the summer. Onana ain't a terrible keeper, but not reliable. And I'm just checking now to see if there are any other good comments. They're talking about 4. Look at this. Like Jeff's come in. Haven't seen him for ages, and he's talking about 4 and 8K coverage in the States. Pick up Jeff and his telly. In my opinion, Onana first goal was an error, but not a monstrous one. Okay. Second one was all on him. Third, I think, was a world-class goal. Most keepers would have been caught out. Everyone, I think, agrees with you, Andrew, except for Big Omonde Juma, who is not happy with the third goal. All right. What have we got next? Oh, Newcastle United's injury list, Mr. B. Newcastle have been absolutely decimated. They have 13 players out, which is more than half of their squad. Is this a good time to be playing Newcastle
I
United?
don't give a shit. All of a sudden, everybody's injuries count. We ain't had Martinez, we haven't had Shaw, we haven't had Malacia. But now, because other teams are getting injuries, it's a big issue. It's their team and their squad. You know, they beat us in the Coca-Cola Cup with a weakened league team. They beat Chelsea the other day with a weakened team. So do you know what? Bullshit to them and their weakened crap. You know what I mean? I'm not interested. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm not confident in the game, but at the same time, I'm glad they've got injuries. That's what football's for. I'm glad they've got injuries.
That wasn't right. It's not the question, Mr. B. Wasn't about like injuries or is it boots? Is it too much World Cup? It was about looking at the names on that list. Is it a good time to play them?
It's not enough players are injured.
Not enough. You
No.
want more?
Yeah, I want 30 players injured. Then we're talking. Callum Wilson, he what's his name? Isaac will replace him. Willock, that's the fast boy that scored against us, innit?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a shame he's out. Tonali, he ain't played. Dan Burn, maybe they might miss him. They're not going to miss Maz Target. So really, they're missing Callum Wilson, who wouldn't have played against us anyway.
Sure. He's one of.
Yeah,
He's been one of the
he would have
most
played
effective
Isaac.
strikers.
He would
in the
have
Premier
played
League.
Isaac. He would have played Isaac. Isaac's his boy. Isaac's his boy, and then Isaac would have played 75 minutes, and Callum Wilson. So Isaac's what going to play an extra 15 minutes in this game. Botman, yes, agreed, and maybe Dan Burn. Go on, tell me another one that they got injuries, but they're not first teamers.
Well, Harvey Barnes was bought to be a first teamer.
Was bought, but he hasn't been a first teamer yet. Exactly, it's my point.
Yeah, but that's because he's injured. So is it a good time to play Newcastle United?
Nah, we needed to play them when Trippier was injured. They need to get their goalie, their first choice goalie, injured. No, it's not. It's not a good time to play Newcastle, to be fair. I don't think it is.
Right, OMONDI, tell me about this injury list.
I don't totally disagree. I've counted 8 players there in and around the first team squad. 4 of them are first team players. And that'd be Botman. That would be Dan Burn, the big old left back. Amazing, isn't it? A left back being 6'8". Crazy. Tonali, obviously, he's going to be out for a long time. He's definitely a first team player as well. And then there was someone else: Tonali, Dan Burn, Botman, and yes, you could say Longstaff as well could be a first team player. Callum Wilson comes as a sub, good player to come on. I will say this: I watched the game against PSG the other day, and yeah, they are tired because they wouldn't make a sub. They didn't get touch the ball for 30 minutes in the second half. They were holding on, and they wouldn't sub because there's no one to come on. If you look at the talent there, it's all about a squad game, isn't it? It's all right making the Champions League, but you need to have a good squad. I compare 2 sides here. Aston Villa, they also suffer from injuries, but they've got a decent squad to come in. If you look at their injury list, they've got decent players, and they're 4th in the table right now because they've got decent players coming in. The squad's been increased. They've done really well in that respect. Compare that to Tottenham. Tottenham have been playing really well. They've been flying its first few weeks of the season, but now they've got their injury crisis. Everyone's getting it right now. And they're struggling because they don't have the players, they don't have the squad. So it's definitely a squad game. Newcastle are feeling it by playing Champions League football at a high level in that group of depth as well. So every game they can't rest, and they didn't definitely rest at the PSG the other day. They were blowing, going towards, praying for the final whistle, and heartbroken as well at the end. Then they have to fly back, and then they have to face Man United and man up for that. There might be another few players dropping out. Who knows? From rest and recovery after what they went through the other day. I know we had a game the following day, but I think we've got a better squad at the moment, as in more packed out. We've got more better bench, stronger bench. So I'm very encouraged by this bath time to see 4 first team players out and that they're knackered as well after what they've been through. It's not just the physicality, it's the mental suffering to score, get an equalising goal late on like that. So I think it's all in our favour. So I'm very happy about this.
Yeah, I'm happy about this as well. But the comments are saying, first of all, DK Wilson is going boo boo Newcastle. I think and then Big G calling Nasser again for the Hubble. Bath time, you need to sort the sizing of these visuals, mate. Right. Big G, I completely agree with you, and I'm not going to lie. Later on, there are some more pictures, and I made them absolutely massive for you, as big as I possibly could. This is just to illustrate the extent of the injuries that Newcastle have, and why I think it's probably a good time to play them. Obviously, not a good kickoff time, but a good time. And Jeff Vesco is saying, yes, they have major players injured. Good time to play them. Hopefully, we can get some more in the warm up. I always enjoy it when a player gets injured in the warm up for the opposition team. Really messes with them. Wait, does Bath Time have any channel? I do. Anthony Herbert, lol, Mr. B, make it the reserve team too. And Andrew is saying that even with these injuries, Gordon, Isaac, Bruno G, Almirian, Trippier, Livramento, still some class there. And he also includes Joel Linton. And is there anything else? I quite like this. Is it a good time to play for Newcastle to play us whilst Delana is not injured? Well, I mean, the thing is that there have been some calls for Bayinda to come in, but do you think it's a good idea to give a goalkeeper his Premier League debut away from home at 8 o'clock at night? I'm not so sure that's a good idea.
You're sounding like a Dalek.
Am I?
Stop. Keep talking again.
Hello.
Yes. Anybody in the chat have an issue with that? Don't. Fine. It must be my end. Then don't worry about it. You don't sound like a Dalek. Then it must.
You're
be
gaslighting me, Mr. B. I can't believe this. I'm psychologically abused. Anthony Herbert is a member for 14 months. Congratulations.
Take a bow. Take a bow, Herbert.
Actually, if you do want to become a member, you can go on Mr. B's Takeaway, chat with the lads, and if you do well, you can come on and speak to everyone else. Because it's a community channel. It's a community channel, and we all enjoy speaking to you and so on. But these are some people that I am concerned about, Mr. B. Do you know who these guys are? First of all,
don't take the piss out of me. Yeah, and they're all exactly. They're not injured. They're free danger men. Look, if you put Trippier, Gordon, and what's his name, Joe Linton, converted forward to I mean, you fair play to for getting the tune out of him because he wasn't brought in that position. But yeah.
Well, I was going to put our friend Reese in instead of Anthony Gordon, as I think that they look almost identical. But what, like, they do.
They do, actually. Yeah, I see it. Oh, God.
Right. So, Mr. B, Trippier. Why should we be worried about Trippier?
Set pieces.
Yeah.
Set piece. Yeah. Set pieces. He's got a wonder of a right foot. So yeah, I'll say set pieces. I mean, defensively, I would like to think that our wingers might be able to get at him, but I'm definitely on set pieces without a shadow of a doubt.
Do you think?
Can I chip in for this one?
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, I like Trippier a lot. I watched him the other day. He was up against Mbappe. Mbappe had to switch wings. Because I'm thinking, right, what's he going to do against Mbappe? This guy is a beast. I've watched most of their games in Europe this season. A lot of their games in the Premiership. If it wasn't for Trippier, they wouldn't be half the side they are. This guy's a leader. We talk about lacking a captain, that kind of thing. You give him the ball, it sticks. People think, right, pass it to the fullback. I'll go and close him down and put him under pressure. Keep trying it over and over again. In the end, you get tired because it sticks to him. And then he plays the sensible balls, plays it into feet, gives and go, that kind of thing. It gives really hard work to a winger. Now, Mbappe, he was up against probably one of the best players in the world in midweek, and he performed remarkably, I must say, against him, because it's not about just defending man to man, or it's not like he's going in sprint races with him or doing anything like that. He's done enough to sort of limit any kind of possibility for him. If it means doing the work, getting close to him before the ball comes to him, he'd do that. If it means backing off and bringing players in and make it congested, he'd do that. He's very intelligent. I have to give him so much respect. With England's like numerous fullbacks they've got in the moment, I'm not surprised why he keeps getting games, even at left back, because he's a leader. He talks really well. He sets the example on the pitch, and I think he's a great player. There was I'm watching on another channel, I think it's Rio's channel the other day. Someone was saying that Trippier is better than Gary Neville, and Rio's like, no, not really. But is a good discussion. But I think Trippier is better than Gary Neville. Not in all attributes, but he's such a good player. And like I say, it's not just about physical defending. We saw Dalot come up against Saha the other day, couldn't do what Wan-Bissaka could do. So there's a difference in the style of defending and what they can and cannot do. What we see with Trippier, clearly, he knows his limitations. He's an experienced player, and he doesn't hardly ever gets caught out. And he's a hard worker. He's a leader. He's a nutter. And he's a great player for Newcastle. He would be the biggest miss, in my opinion, if he wasn't in the side. I just want to applaud him. What a great player he is.
England's best fullback, Mr. B? Is it Trippier?
Walker's better than him. There's Walker, not Des Walker. Kyle Walker. I think Kyle Walker's better than him.
I'm very disappointed that they don't do the Des Walker chant for Kyle Walker. I think it's one of the best in football. You'll never beat Des Walker. Like, why don't they do that for Kyle Walker? I find it annoying. Yeah. But the other thing about Trippier and also Livramento is we've our wingers have got to be on them in open play as well as a sort of defence, not conceding silly free kicks. We've got to be like, they're really dangerous, both of them. And if we look at the comments, Andrew Williams is also bringing up the danger of Livramento. Rajat is saying, will Palestri or Anthony play? We'll get to the solo 11 after this, which obviously is the team that's going to be picked. And then Big G is echoing what I just said, which is because our wingers don't defend. And guess who's in the house? It's Friday night kebab boy, Matthew Bassett. And Andrew is saying that Trippier has surprised him and has done way better than he expected at Newcastle. He also says that Reece James is his favourite right back, who's I think has dropped out of the conversation recently for best England right back. And whoever is up against him needs to ensure they defend. In fact, Trippier needs to be man marked. Interesting.
So who wrote that?
Well, it's Big G.
Oh, he's on the wind up. It's all right.
Well, I don't think he is. I mean, Omonde has said that like Trippier is their probably. Did you say he's their most important player? The player that,
for sure.
Why would you play the game and mark a right back? It's more what I was.
Don't buy it.
Okay.
No, because right backs produce a huge amount of chances, which is why I wanted a certain person to play at right back, and I've got a new person I want to play at right back.
Oh, don't you dare!
I have already. All right, next up we've got Mr. Anthony Gordon, Omondo. Some people say that under 21 level, he's one of the best in the world. What are your thoughts on Anthony Gordon and what dangers is he going to bring?
Yeah, I'm definitely qualified to talk about this guy. I mean, look, they spent a lot of money on him, 50 million from Everton a couple of years ago. Everton were happy to give up the money, and even so, they've sold him for that much money. They're still in financial problems, but they had to sell him. The young player, such a talent. I watched him in the tournament recently for under 21s and watched his progress. He's fantastic. He's got so much drive. He can, he's transferred his skills at that level. Usually you're good at that sort of level because he's quicker, he's stronger, he's faster, and he's taken that to the first team at Newcastle and made the place of his position his own. Such a direct, strong nutter. Once again, a nutter like Kieran Trippier, one of these northern nutters who love the game, don't care about appearance. You know, with footballers, they're not always the best looking because they say, I can focus on my football. Don't get distracted by girls. He's a teenager, he's coming out as teens, and he's a great player because he's had to work. Like you say, he looks like Reece. He's never going to get girl like that.
Omonde!
Look at him. Look at his face. Oh, but no. Jokes aside, I think he's fantastic. This is what you need. You playing in that position compared to Garnacho, for example. He's got more. He's a bit more mature. He's played at a high level with England under 21s. He's their boss player. Yes, I do think he's one of the best wide men for that at that level and that age. And everyone will be looking at him in the Champions League and saying, "This guy's fantastic." You're talking about bringing in the guy from Leicester. and as a first team
Harvey
player,
Barnes.
but I think what's his name? This guy here is clear of it. He's clear. Gordon is clear of Harvey Barnes for me with effectiveness. Harvey Barnes gets the ball, plays it into feet, give and go 1-2. I can read that. You can see that all day. This and he's got a little bit of drive. This guy's got serious drive, serious determination to get back. He's a nutter, like I said before. The fans love him because they can see that drive he's got, and he's got a good shot on him. He can drop a shoulder, get on his right foot, and get a shot in on target. Very effective. You look at guys like Martinelli playing that position, and Gordon, and our very own Garnacho. I think Gordon trumps them all with his form.
Do you?
I really do. I really, really rate him highly. Top player, and there's more to come. If he can add a little bit more to his game, bit of Mr. B likes to say, bit of seasoning, bit of finesse and all that kind of thing to add to the mentality he's got already, he'll be a great player going forward for England as well in the future. So Flash Gordon, as Regigi says there, Commissioner Gordon from Batman, whatever you want to call him, the guy is a don, just like Trippier. So you are putting up 2 players so far that I give the thumbs up to.
Okay, well, look at this. We've got a super chat from Mr. Anthony Herbert, and he's telling us how to spend the money, saying it's towards Mr. B's new headset. Like, get one that makes you look more like Frozone.
Andy's so funny.
Yeah, we got Kevin Losa here saying was disappointed when we didn't get Trippier. He's class. Only thing that separates him and Walker is pace. And Andrew is saying nobody man marks a fullback. And Rajiji is in the house saying, good evening, peeps. How are you all doing tonight? Going to be a frosty game against Newcastle. And Andrew follows this up by saying that the horse racing's abandoned for Frost at Newcastle tomorrow, so we'll be sharp. And Rajat says, hope Alejandro Garnacho can best him. And Andy is saying, I prefer Garnacho, but I do respect Gordon. My opinion on Gordon, I think that Garnacho is better in his attacking play, but Gordon's work rate and his defensive responsibilities are far beyond Garnacho's. I'm a little bit worried about the Newcastle press, but most of all, I am worried about this man at the end, Joel Linton. I am extremely scared of him, Mr. B. Like, should I be? Like, what problems do you think he will bring to our midfield tomorrow?
Height. What is he, 12 foot?
At least.
He's going to need to be stopped before he hits his stride. And to be fair, he's really how has really got him has really got him playing in a position that was maybe foreign to him before Hal got there. Yeah, I'm not sure how we stop him, to be fair, with the players that we have in our team. I'm not sure if he's on his game, we've got the players in the team who can actually physically stop him. So I'm hoping he's eating some chicken.
Oh, nice.
From Old Trafford.
Yeah, nice. Omondi, I am a little bit worried about players like Kobe and Amrabat coming up against Joel Linton. And
yeah. I tell you,
excuse
man.
me?
I said,
He's so wow, Omondi.
I said, pluck, yeah.
Outrageous, Omondi.
I'm using chicken puns again. Pluck, yes, pluck it out of the sky. Well, anyway, I would say pluck, yeah. Listen, this guy should be in the Highland Games for his strength and power. He is absolutely a beast of a player. I've never seen him waste. The other day, he was playing against PSG. I was saying, who can waste him? Who can waste him in the midfield? And he couldn't get near him. The way he shields himself, his body, the way he gets around the pitch and bodies people and flattens them fairly, because he's just super strong. And like you said, Amrabat and our boy Mainoo, they need to play the ball around him if they can, rather than try to sort of go into direct duels with this guy. He's an absolute beast of a player. And when you look at their midfield, when Longstaff's in there as well, when Willock's in there, running power, drive, their midfield is very combative. And I think Joe Linton is the main man in there. You don't want to be, when you line up against these guys, you shake hands. You look at his shirt. It's like, is that sprayed on? I mean, god damn, he looks like he's so tonk. He's so strong. He could go down the gym and bench 500 pounds. It looks like
very slimming stripes as well. I should get more of them.
It's true. It's true. Black does make you look a little bit slimmer. But yeah, I think he's an amazing player. You got him and Bruno in midfield. Obviously, they're both Brazilian, so the communication's good. It's very tough midfield for us to come up against, as we saw when we played him in the League Cup as well.
Yeah,
But yeah, you're totally right, bro. This guy he's got good first touch. Obviously, once he's got the ball, you're not going to get it off him. If he goes in a duel with you, he's going to knock you off the ball. And it won't be a foul because he's just too strong. We've seen it time and time again. He dominates in that respect. So we have to be really mindful of this guy and just be careful. Don't think you're going to run in and commit yourself and you end up on the floor eating grass.
Do you think we've got any players that can combat him?
No, not at the moment. I mean, Scott McTominay, I don't even think he could. If it comes to a running thing and you're trying to lean on him or whatever, just have to be careful how you do it, innit? Like you said about how you position your body. I think Kobe Mainoo, if you've seen Kobe's legs, even though everyone said he's skinny and he's just a boy.
Oh, he's a little unit, Kobe.
Look at his legs, bruv. This guy's got balance. And I just think you got to be able to this is where you have to be intelligent when you come up against big guys like this. I mean, you just have to pick your battles and time your battles as well. Sometimes it's not worth it.
He's also a really dirty player. Like, he should have been sent off like in his last couple of games. I think we need to pay special attention to him if we do end up playing Kobe in midfield. But Michael Hill is saying that Aaron Wan-Bissaka will snuff Gordon out. The rest might get through, but Gordon won't. It might be frosty, but the Geordies will have their breasts out. So I don't know. Newcastle will not give you a minute's rest. They hassle you, all game. And then Rajiji, for some reason, is typing in capital letters. Gordon is a fantastic Scottish player. He's English. Linton in midfield is like a lion in a playground. Unwanted. And then Rajiji is saying McTominay versus Linton.
Woo!
And Big T is how you beat a beast is outthink him. Always be one step ahead. And I believe Mainoo's reading of the game will allow him to do that. I'm predicting Mainoo to pocket him.
Yeah.
Interesting. Like, I haven't thought about that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's the time. The time you've all been waiting for. It's the solo 11. I haven't seen this yet. Oh, please don't be ridiculous. Okay. So it's a very safe choice from Solo this weekend. He's gone. Well, let's start with the back five on Monday. Are you happy with Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Onana, and Lindelof? I know the other man you'll be happy with.
Yeah, of course. Maguire's got to be in. What an immense game he had at in Turkey, and Wan-Bissaka back in. Obviously we talk about that duel with what's his name, Gordon. I think he's best suited. I would start with Wan-Bissaka based on that because this guy is tough and strong, and we'll be up against it. And I know you sort of highlighted some deficiencies in his game at Turkey, but I still think I disagree with you the other day. I think you've been a bit harsh on him by half time. Wan-Bissaka, I'm happy with. When you look at left back, it's got to be Shaw, left-footed left back. He played really well, and I hope he's fit enough and can last out. It's Lindelof is the only issue for me. We've got Johnny Evans and we've got Varane. Varane doesn't seem to be playing. So I'm quite happy with that. And the big one as well, obviously, is Onana. I would still stick with him. I think you can't destroy a man's confidence. Let him come back and let him prove himself. And have a performance like we beat Newcastle when they were challenged for the title. We beat them 1-0. They were giving us so much licks throughout the whole game. We saved everything and then got that 1-0 result. And I think he needs a big game like that after what happened during the midweek.
Would you consider Shaw centre back?
Then no, because Malacia. We had some news the other day, didn't we, Mr. B, about Malacia?
He's had another injury setback, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think unless you go to low, I don't think that's right. Just Shaw's better at left back. We've got centre backs there, so I wouldn't consider that unless you guys disagree.
Well, Mr. B, what do you think about that back five?
I think it's what's going to play. I'm still not confident about Lindelof playing. Maguire, I've just accepted that will play. If Lindelof, with Lindelof, I just can't. you just never know what he's going to get. You know, I think he's the one who players target now. They don't target Maguire so much anymore. I think Lindelof is the one who they will try and body and try and outstrength and but they'll probably try to run at both of them, to be fair. But I think Lindelof's going to be, so I think he's probably the weak link in that back five. Is he weaker than no, probably not. But I think he's I think he's the weak link. But we don't have anybody to cover. I know you were saying about Shaw going in there, but I'm not sure. I'd rather play. We've missed Shaw at left back. He's given us something playing left back, so I'd rather keep him at left back.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how you say like you've come to accept Maguire, because it's a bit like Alcoholics Anonymous, where they sort of say, you know, let me control let me accept what I can't control. But one thing that I've noticed in our run of games that we've had since Maguire and Lindelof has come in is we're not getting cut through the same way that we were when it was Varane, Martinez, and Casemiro in front of them at the start of the season. I am of the opinion that Lindelof and Maguire are, with Maguire as the standout, are our best central defenders for playing in a high line. I mean, is that crazy? I know Omondi is going to agree with it, but Mr. B is like, from what you've seen.
Comment. I don't know what's happening with the team. I'm not a defensive-minded player, so I will leave. I look at these players and think, no, he shouldn't be playing. But we haven't stopped playing in a high line with Maguire in the team. You know, yes, we are conceding a lot of goals, but whereas before, I think, you know, we could pinpoint in it being, you know, Maguire's done this or Maguire's done that. Or even sometimes when he never did it, we were still probably blaming him for it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe the partnership is right. Maybe individually they're not the best defenders, but maybe the partnership is right by half time.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point, because Varane is obviously like, he has all the abilities, all the attributes to be a world-class defender, but he's an absolute disaster next to Maguire. And Lindelof doesn't seem to have a lot of abilities, but like has done really well. So I find it really interesting. But let's have a look at the comments.
Just to add quickly, I think, look, he'll likely be coming up against Isaac, and Isaac's a really good player, but he didn't hold up the ball too well against the Paris Saint-Germain centre backs, Schürrle and Diarra, whatever the Portuguese centre back
didn't work very hard either.
Yeah, he didn't. When they were on the back foot, he was just like walking around, and you see other guys doing the work and running, hustling around. He was just wanted exactly to feet and that kind of thing. But he's obviously someone, if you get too close to him, he'll roll you, and so we need to be mindful. And it does sort of give you sort of a headache when you talk about Maguire getting so tight with his defending. He could get rolled or pinned in. Or the same with Lindelof. They need to be really smart. I think they should communicate really well, because it'd probably be him up front. And if one go with him and one get ready to pinch him if he gets around the first man. It's going to be a great game, by the way, with all these sort of matchups.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I completely agree, because both Lindelof and Maguire under Ten Hag have been really defending on the front foot. Like Lindelof in particular will follow his man into midfield. And I'm expecting an absolute barnstormer. But we've got Andrew saying, not a terrible team, but I would have Amrabat before Scotty. Horses for courses. And if Rajiji were the manager, he'd play Shaw centre-back for this game. More pace. And I think Maguire will really struggle this game. The pace of Gordon on the left and Isaac. And he follows it up. So I've got a feeling Maguire's going to have a nightmare. And then he says complete nonsense towards me when I said that I think that Maguire is our best defender in a high line. But I do. I don't think he gets caught out nearly as much as everyone else. So, Mr. B, the midfield. Mainoo, Bruno, McTominay. And whilst you sit there like a Bond villain, you're muted.
Cheers. You know, my opinion on Scott's not going to change by half time. I know I did lose my I saw your little post. Yes, I did mention your name in all of my excitement after Scott McTominay
My
scored.
little post.
He did.
I did. Yeah, I did. He scored, and I thought bath time's going to be on the bloody ceiling now. I get his role, bath time. I understand the role that he plays, but we have no control in the team when he plays. We have no. He's a midfielder. You know, if he was allowed to have an extra man who was just allowed to run around the pitch, then Scott would be that guy. We need to control midfield. So I wouldn't be starting with Scott. I wouldn't be starting with Scott. I would wait and use him as I said, the box crasher that nobody's going to be able to mark. He has his points. He has his moments in games. But I want us to control the midfield, and we can't do it with two. We can't do it with Mainoo or the single pivot and Bruno. We need the extra midfielder who has the midfield. I'm not going to say responsibility, has the midfield attributes that we need, because Scott's got attributes I think that the team don't need at the moment. My opinion.
Can I just come back at you quickly there? I respect everything you've said there, and I think that there's a lot of truth to it. But since I don't think that our right side has been like creating chances and scoring goals to this extent since maybe Valencia was the right winger. And a lot of that is to do with McTominay's running. Like, Anthony looks better. Like, well, it's just one game, but Anthony looked better. Our best team goals have either been scored or assisted by McTominay running that channel. I personally believe that maybe the way forward is for Bruno to play deeper and allow to give us defensive stability. And it allows him a bit more space. He can take long shots. He can put the ball through. And McTominay can get forward and cause a bit of chaos with his runs. Is this just me being biased because I love Scott McTominay?
Yeah, I think it's you being biased because he loves Scott McTominay. I mean, maybe people in chat's going to agree or disagree. That Andrew Williams has already said that you're talking sherbet. So it would be interesting to see if there's anybody else who actually agrees with Bath Time's analysis on that one, to be fair.
Come on Monday.
Yeah, I think it's down to a tactical thing. I think I would like to see Bruno drop off. We've conceded a lot of goals. Look at the chance. Like, we can't hold a lead at the moment. That's the running joke. And I think when we do go up, if we do go up against Newcastle, we need to be a bit more responsible. Talking about the defence and the high line, but I think that where we need to improve is not having a void in midfield. And I think if we haven't got the ball, or we're trying to go forward a lot of the time, sometimes you have to make your decisions when you go or when you really burst. Because if you're prepared to burst to go forward, sometimes are you prepared to come back? And even if you are prepared to come back, have you got the leg power to get back where it's necessarily? Like Bruno, for example, we saw that the other day. He's bombed forward, didn't receive a pass from McTominay. Immediately, both had to track back, and they gave away a free kick, which led to a goal. I would like to see Bruno be a bit more conservative in certain games. And I know the system the manager requires you to follow the system. But I think sometimes you have to be responsible. We're looking at our shape in midfield, and we say, right, we've got a holding player and two weights ahead of them. But when you look at Newcastle United, they got Bruno Guimaraes, they got Joe Lilton, and they usually have Willock or Longstaff or someone like that. And you cannot identify which one is playing deeper, which one too. They all do the same job. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can never. They have to sit back like they did the other day against Paris in the second half. They sit back. They're not going to say, well, I'm Bruno Guimaraes. I'm going to play further ahead because I'm the more talented guy. They all put the shift in. And that's what I really like about them. And sometimes I'd really like to see that with the Man United side to protect us and not make us so open. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you're right. I do agree with Bath Time. And I've been saying this for a long time previously as well, that I sometimes think Bruno should drop back in. Yes, you're number 10, but when you haven't got the ball, make us more solid, because we'll be coming up against a free midfield and a lot of runners, and you don't want them to get the wrong side of you, because that's where in transitions we're always in trouble. So with the players, by the way, big up Solo. This is what I would pick as well. I think Kobe Mainoo, look at him with his running style like Carl Lewis, with his, looking good. Kobe Mainoo, fantastic. He came on the other day. I thought he's brilliant. His passing, his control. calmness. That's exactly what you need, especially against Newcastle as well, which will be, we could slow them down and get them playing at our pace. That's what we really want to do. Change the tempo of the game, where if they've got the momentum and the crowd get on side and they keep running and we keep giving the ball away and we keep panicking, then it could be lights out for us. But if we get someone like Mainoo on the ball, slow it down, start again, recycle, take the steam out of the game. Do you understand what I'm saying? Slow it down a bit. And I think someone like Mainoo can do that. You need Scott McTominay in the side. Sorry, Mr. B, but I think you need him in a combative midfield like this. Joe Littleton, we were talking about him earlier. You need someone that's big and strong.
But do you need him deeper? Do you need him in the role that he plays the box crash, or do you need him deeper?
Exactly. Just deep. When we haven't got the ball, just sit back deeper and just play goal side. So we're not ahead of the play. And
he doesn't have that capability on Monday. That's why he doesn't. That's why he hasn't beat Monday, man. We've seen Scott McTominay play the.
Yeah, but sorry to interrupt, but you're saying he hasn't got the capability. I'm saying it's just about shape. When we haven't got the ball, just put him back. Just drop off behind the ball. Whether you've got the capability or not, someone won't try to run through you. They're going to pass it around you, and that way,
they're just going to look at him and dribble around him.
Do
our players make tackles? Do our mid? You see the thing with Newcastle, right? You see the thing with Newcastle. We talk about Joe Linton. If a man is running past Joe Linton, the first thing he's doing,
clapping.
He's either going to foul him or he's going to give him an elbow and stop him from moving. Our midfielders are too soft on Monday. All they want to do is pat a man on his arse as they're running past him. Give him the elbow first and pat him on his arse and tell him sorry when he's on the floor. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand. We're not aggressive enough in central midfield.
Do you think McTominay's soft?
No, I don't think he's soft, but I don't think...
He's not an enforcer, is he?
Yeah. He's not an enforcer, but Mainoo's not an enforcer. And to a certain extent, Casemiro has not become an enforcer. So at the moment, we're playing our team without an enforcer.
We need Ericsson back. The hardest man alive.
Oh, God.
All right, boys, we are, because of Monday talking about seasoning chicken, we're really, off on time. Get your score predictions in. I'm just going to go through your comments now. But if you can think of your score predictions, that'd be extremely useful. And we're going to just show the comments. So Matthew Bassett wants Mainoo, Amrabat and Fernandes midfield trio. My initial concern is that I think Mainoo and Amrabat are a bit too weedy to deal with Joel Linton and Bruno Guimaraes. On
the board.
Yeah. Yeah, and also their running power. I think that we've seen that clip of Amrabat against Mbappe, but we haven't seen anything like that in the Premier League. I don't think he's at the physical level to compete in the Premiership yet because he missed the preseason stuff. Varane is clear. So this is about McTominay. He's not good enough to play the current role he's been given. Playing alongside Scott is killing Bruno. Bruno has not got the discipline to do that job.
That's the 8. It's the deep line.
Scott's better off the bench. Well, one thing that I find quite amusing about the clip of Bruno is that, first of all, I think he was shouting at Amrabat because it was Amrabat's job to cover that space. But the second thing is, Bruno gives the ball away for fun, and he's telling someone else that it wasn't the pass that he needed. I was a bit disappointed with Bruno. I don't think you talk to a player like that when you've got defensive duties and to get on with. You do that afterwards. But anyway, if Bruno had discipline, that would be the answer. King T'Challa has popped in. He says, "Who loves Scott McTominay?" I love Scott McTominay. Yeah. And every single manager that he's played for has become first choice. So if you don't love Scott McTominay, maybe you're overestimating and underestimating what you need in a football match.
Half-time loves Scott McTominay like Keelan and Kel love orange soda. I do.
I wish I'd watched that show so that I could join in.
It's all right. It's all right. I don't think they showed it in Wales.
I haven't always lived in Wales. And I hope not to live here much longer. But anyway, If Bruno played in the changing room, it would give us the balance Bath Time is talking about.
Wow.
And King T'Challa is saying, McTominay has fans. Every bloody manager loves him. Like it's like, I don't want to do an appeal to authority, but it's just social media that doesn't rate Scott McTominay. Everyone else does, and you can take shortcuts and make up reasons why that is. Say he's British or he's tall or whatever. But maybe, just maybe, it would be worth thinking about the role he does and all these different things and seeing why every manager loves him. Because, you know, you can improve your understanding of a football match that way. Bruno will never be that guy to play in a 6. Yes, Bath Time. Ten Hag has done it before. Bruno playing deep. We need to defend. We need to protect the defence. 75 plus chances against mediocre teams is bad. And let's have a look at score predictions. Andrew. Everyone boo Andrew.
Boo!
Boo! Newcastle 4, Man United 0. Andrew. McTominay has a use, but it's not as a 6. If you want to play 2 6s, has to be Amrabat. Matthew Bassett, Manchester United. What?
Oh
Newcastle 2, Manchester 1. Boo! Boo, Big G. 2-2. Boo! Thank you, Jeff. United 3. Newcastle 1. And look at Big G.
Boo.
Newcastle 8. Big T. Sell McTominay to Pep Guardiola. Has McTominay played in a back 4? All right, look. Do you know what, Big T? It's sorry. Do you know what, King T'Challa? It's the end of the show, but look at all this tactical stuff I had to talk about, like McTominay's position and so on. But Mr. B hates tactics. He won't let me.
Can't you just do a quick summary?
Listen,
Guys,
No. It's too. It's too late.
No,
isn't
why?
it?
Why?
hold
Why?
on, it's Friday.
Can
Listen,
we go longer?
you've done a lot of hard work, Bath Time. You've done a lot of hard work. I want to see it. I want to see it. Guys, if the show's too long, switch off. We apologize, but I want to see what Bath Time's doing.
I want to see it as well.
Yeah, stick around. Educate us, Bath Time.
Yeah.
Come on.
Guys, if you
all
want to see Bath Time talk some key tactics about the game tomorrow, just give me a hell yeah. Like Steve Stone Cold.
No. Look, I don't need attention or whatever. I thought I was.
Give me a hell yeah! If you want to see Bath Time, give me a hell yeah! Crack a beer and give us a hell yeah!
Oh my god, I feel I'm being gaslighted again. I know that, like, I care about Mr. B, and I know he gets hungry at this time, so I didn't want to like overrun. But let's get score predictions first from the lads. Mr. B, what are you feeling? Oh no.
2-2.
2-2. We go 2-0 up.
Yeah, and it will be that we're gonna score. They're gonna score 45 seconds after we do. We're gonna score again, and they're gonna score 50 seconds after we do. That's what we do. So yeah, I'm gonna go 2-2. We will score. I'm very, very confident that we will score, but I'm also very confident that they're gonna breach our defense. So yeah, 2-2.
All right, Mr. Juma, what are you thinking? 7-0?
I might change my opinion after the tactics. But I think we're going to win. Shall I tell you why? Because they're knackered, and I don't think after playing Championship football they're used to it. They'll be playing the same 11, and I think they're going to suffer for it. I feel we're a lot fitter at the moment. I think we can hurt them. The difference is we won't. Once we go up, we're going to learn a lesson. We managed to take them to training, slap them up for being irresponsible. Once we've taken a lead, 2-0 up and 3-1 up, we couldn't hold the lead. I think we can score goals as proven. Mr. Beast sort of back that as well. We can score goals. We scored some beautiful goals right now, not just like worldies. I'm talking about team worldies where we're popping it around. McTominay's goal, the first goal with Garnacho. Go and look at Everton game as well. We're scoring good goals, so I think we can win this game. I'm saying 2-0 away from home against Newcastle. Shut them out and make them suffer.
To be fair, Omondi, some of the goals we've scored recently have been incredible.
Yeah.
The ones down the right side, right. Tactics. Okay. If someone can like sort the comments out for me.
I got him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So this is Ten Hag's tactical issue, and in a possession-based team, this is normally how you expect your team to set up. I've divided the pitch into the main areas, which is wide, central, and half space or interior, as I like to call it. So you'll see that the 3 and the 8 and the 5 and the 10 are working in the interior areas. So this is just standard for a possession-based team where you have players occupying the wide areas in possession to stretch the team. Right? That means that the opposition team, their block has to either be wider or more compact, because you'll play through them if they're not more compact. So you're able to play around them when you have 2 players in the wide areas. And to facilitate this, you need 3 players in central and interior areas. So what you will see is that the 3 and the 5 are in the interior, and their job is to deal with transitions and defending players out wide, which, Mr. B, is why I always talk about players, can they defend out wide? Is that all clear?
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Wicked. All right. So I've now just put a block in from the other team to show like how you would defend against this when the ball's in the central area. And this is what most possession teams will do, is the next slide, is they compact the pitch to one side, and because they have that number 2 inverted, it means that you can have a player in a wider area as the outlet. So traditionally, we think of a 9 as an outlet, like, your big, strong guy, hold the ball up, like win a free kick or whatever. This isn't what happens in modern football anymore, OMONDI, unfortunately, is that the outlet is in the wider area. And you can see with the rest defense, which is the 2, 6, 3, 4, and 5, that there's a passing network that allows you to get it to that number 11 without any problems. So this, Mr. B, is what you expect to see from a team. Now, with the players that are all clustered out on the left, this is going to sound really stupid. But as an attacking player, and this is something that I was coached in, I found very difficult, is you've actually got to be close to your man. And the reason you've got to be close to your man and not go looking for spaces is because if you lose the ball, you need to counter press, right? Which is a combination of like attacking the man, the ball, or the passing lane. So how this works is you need players that are technical and that can like manipulate the ball in tight spaces, but also it's not about space anymore. It's about passing angles. So it's people like Højlund, Martial, and Bruno dropping in to create that passing angle. So when you hear people talking about a left-sided centre-back is needed for the passing angles, it's to do with this. Yeah, are we? I mean, Mr. Is this just nonsense or
no? I study. You see the figures. I listen to you talking, and then I study it for my team on Saturday. So I've heard everything you've said. Bath time. Yeah. I've heard everything. Yeah, and I acknowledge everything you've said. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want this to be like a boring lecture and stuff like that. But this is the idea. But the interesting thing to me, OMONDI, is that number 11 that's out wide. So this would be Martinelli, Mane, even Ollie Watkins plays this role for Aston Villa. The idea that the wide player is the outlet. What are your thoughts on this?
Who would this 11 be for us? Just Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's our bloody problem, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. I completely agree. Now, in recent weeks, we've seen Rashford play out on the right, which I think might be a better role for him because he's much better at taking his man on. And this is why I wouldn't mind to see Garnacho given this role out here, where he can be direct and he can go at his man. Because wing play, if you think of players like Grealish, right? So Grealish and Mahrez played in the same team. Mahrez took his man on. Grealish, what he does is he tries to suck people in. And the idea is that you suck the team across to one side and then you quickly move it out to the right. Now, I mean, Mr. B, have you seen this happen from United like ever under Ten Hag?
I'll be honest. I have to watch the game back. Second, and that'd have to be live. I don't have time. I don't have time to see tactics. Maybe you'll see certain players in certain positions, but to see it and explain it how you've done it here, I would have to sit down and watch the game and really analyze it by half time.
This is the kind of thing I expected, because when we were watching Ajax, Anthony used to get so much space because they were able to spray that ball out to him. And like you said, there's two ways to get there, like where we recycle it through the defenders. But that number 4 is usually Johnny Evans or Lindelof. Can he spray a left-footed pass, easy pass across there?
Yes,
so to reshape his body or to his right foot to get it over there. So ideally, Martinez playing in that role would be able to switch the play quicker. We want to do it quick to stop, give them time to shuffle over, less time to shuffle over. But if we play, I remember we brought this up in the eye test as well, with an issue with Fred and these sort of guys playing it congested and then popping it around to get it spread to play as well. That number 4 is crucial because these guys can drop off, get a few yards, and we can always, if you watch games these days, always centre backs have most passes. So if we can congest the area like that, then get it back to Lindelof, and he can spray a pass like that with his left foot over to the spare man, and who's Anthony or whoever, and then we could drive at them. We'd have a lot of opportunity because obviously they've got a 3-man midfield. And if you go back a slide, please, the first slide you put about with both teams, I see this as when we played them before, we've done a preview and we're talking about how they set up. When we bring the ball out, this is exactly what they do. Anthony, Gordon, and the other wide man, they cut off the link to the fullbacks. So we can't play through the middle because it's so congested. They congest the area. But then what they do really well, they stop us from playing to the wide men. So if you've got number 4 there with the ball, you can't bypass, say you want to get to our number 11. Their number 11 does such a good job in doing a shadow cover to block that pass. You have to think it over and make it perfect. So I think after watching them the last time we played them, I think they do that really well. And I'm just thinking, how can we incorporate a better system? But going back to your original slide, what we were just on, if we do congest the play like that, that is a great way to get a good outlet where we can drive at them. And I think that would be a good ploy. And it's ironic, isn't it, that it should be equally both sides, but we do tend to play well down the left with the players we have. And that's more than likely what's going to happen. We're going to need an outlet on the right-hand side for Anthony to drive at them. And I just think he's a bit too slow and a bit lacking confidence right now to do a considered job in that respect.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. B, any comments on either of these setups?
No, I'm just thinking. I just see Anthony as a real problem in the way that you set up, because he won't go. He's turning straight back into the traffic, even if they find him. His first thing is to go sort of this way to. I don't know. Yeah, I'm doing it the right way. This way towards the goal when we really want him to be going outside. So
well, not necessarily. Because one of the sort of like the principles of possession play is Omondi's talking about the number 4 making the switch. In positional play systems, you want the number 5 to make the switch. And the reason why is that the block doesn't move across at the same speed. So here we've got a block and the ball is central. Here we've got a block and the ball is on left-hand side of the pitch. That's a perfect block, but blocks aren't perfect all the time. And so you move the ball in a series of movements rather than one big movement if you're trying to play through the block. United don't do this, but Anthony is very strange because he keeps the ball, but it's like having Jack Grealish on the wrong side, if you know what I mean. He doesn't get us up the pitch. He just tries to like sort of draw people across.
Yeah,
like it's a very weird system.
I'm gonna watch it.
Do you think? I think with Kobe Mainoo, is someone who's so composed on the ball. If you're talking about recycling the ball, he's someone I feel comfortable doing that. He does it so well. He pops it around. You're always looking for the closest man to pop it into, and even in under pressure, in pressure situations. So there is a 6. If he's in a congested area like that, I think he's got the ability to play it out. He's always got so much good vision. Play it out, give it to the centre backs, and we can recycle it and spring that out wide quite easily. Yeah. So I think he's crucial in that position for his attributes, for what he gives us.
He's absolutely like when we talk about like McTominay, who in this system would be the 10. That 10 doesn't get on the ball. You want your fullbacks and your number 6 to be on the ball, and you want them to be able to manipulate those angles. And that's what Kobe is brilliant at: is positioning his body, letting it run across, or taking a tighter touch, and things like that. And I'd love to see him using the outside of his foot a little bit more. Just those sort of like surprise little passes where the ball gets played and it looks like you're positioning to take it on your left foot, and just stick that right foot out and break a line with a ball inside. That is the mark of a top quality defensive midfielder. But this is what United tend to do. In recent weeks, we have our left back and our right back occupying the same position as wide, right? And it's dreadful because it means that space in between the fullback and the central midfielder you can get at. And if you think back to like Wolves, for example, where they would cut through us with transitions, Casemiro was left like pretty much, and then he'd go and like go to ground or do something stupid. But the fullbacks, because of their lack of ability to play inside, and that's all of them. I think the only one who can do it is Malacia. Malacia is the only one I've seen play inside properly. There's too much space, and you see that huge gap between Alejandro Garnacho and Bruno. Bruno is positioned, and McTominay in this case is at a position as well, because we're compressing the play.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. Like, absolutely. We're compressing the play. But if you look back to how we should be positioned, with the 5 areas occupied by our 5 attackers, and then you look at how we are playing, we're leaving this interior zone completely free. And that's where a lot of chances are being created. And Ten Hag has to address this. So I personally think that one of Bruno or McTominay has got to play deeper. And I think that Bruno is the man to play deeper because McTominay does not have that skill set. He can't play intricate passes. He can't receive on the turn.
Yeah. So
do we have any comments, Mr. B?
There's quite a few. There's DK Wilson in here. Is this what Ten Hag meant when he talks about not being able to play the way that he did at Ajax? Can answer that?
Yeah, I'd say quite possibly. Yeah,
possibly.
Personnel. Yeah. He had Tadic playing on where Garnacho would be playing. Tadic is sort of like the great, like you were saying about Grealish. He'd hold up the ball, more of an advanced playmaker. And then on the opposite side, he had Ante, who was the outlet, who was able to drive at these Dutch league defenders, a lot better than he is in the Prem. And what's his name? Danny Blind as well was playing left back in those sort of positions. He keeps the ball really neatly, and he can play in that inside position, in vertical position, a lot better. I just want to say this is suicidal. Look, if Dello and Shaw are playing in the interior position there, it's easier because you're protecting that. You're more compact. And if the area you're not protecting is the wide area, let them go wide as long as the middle's protected. I think it's just common sense,
Yeah, I mean, like, for the people watching, I know, this isn't even in depth, to be honest. Let us know if you want to see real tactics where we can talk about how you defend against transitions and stuff. Because I don't want to make this a sort of boring tactics channel, because it's much more fun to talk to Mr. B about how cold he is and things like that. No one wants to discuss tactics, but Monday is completely correct. If Shaw and Dello are inside 10 meters, they form something called the resting defense, which is Well, normally you'll see it in a 3 and a 2 structure from Manchester City because it allows the players in the left and right interior positions to defend wide areas better. But we're too wide in possession. If we look back here, this is protected. You see the 7, 2, 6, 10, 9, and 8, they can all compress if they lose the ball. Right?
Yeah.
And the 5 and the 6 can go and defend wide areas. But here, if we lose the ball in that Delo, McTominay, Kobe, Delo, Rashford circle, we are absolutely wide open. It's 11:55 in a Welsh disco with Charlie. if you lose the ball there.
Can I just add quickly? On my Sunday side, we talk and I give them tactical stuff. I do tactics board and send it in the group and all that kind of thing. The other day we were playing all from the start of the season. I've told them how to set up when the opposing team's got a goal kick. I asked the 2 strikers to play in between the centre back and the full back on each side. And not only so they're covering, if the ball's played out to centre back or full back, they're covered. They've got that covered. I asked the wide men in the 4-man midfield to tuck into midfield, so they're all in the middle areas. And what happens then is everything's compact. So what happens then if the goalkeeper looks up, their goalkeeper, he wants to play out wide because there's always a free man out wide. But by the time he flights the ball over there, the striker will be able to get over there on his first touch, and the guy who's tucked in from midfield will be able to get over there. So I think it's about you've got to dictate where other teams go certain times. And what we're doing, we're being dictated to with this brilliant thing you just put up there, Bathtime, about what our fullbacks been playing wider when it should be inverted to. We're being dictated to, meaning they can play in the only space available for them to play is where they're really going to hurt us, like they did against Wolves, for example.
Yeah, like completely agree. The first priority of any football team is to make sure you can't be played through down the middle, because that's just the quickest route to goal.
Yeah.
So, you think about defending crosses, like Kahinde and yourself both said, don't feel under pressure in certain games because we're just defending crosses that we can see all the way and things. And this is a good example of it. But have we got anything more apart from Lucky Singh?
just Lucky Singh saying McTominay needs to be benched and Glazer's out. DK Wilson's got real taxer. So I always wonder how many teams or other or position video sessions there are had in European football. I see this is just their coaching levels, to be fair, and that's it. To be fair, should start. And King Charles just saying that Mainoo and Amrabat should start with Bruno. Unfortunately,
I love you, T'Challa. Oh, thank you so much. So this is why I'm not so sure about Amrabat, because Lucky Singh has talked about McTominay doesn't get on the ball in positional systems. The box-to-box midfielder is mainly about channels and the final touch. And if you look at Amrabat here, Amrabat has to cover those spaces. So in attack, he's got to bomb over to Rashford and run in between the centre-back and the full-back. And if you look at the goal that was scored against Galatasaray, that McTominay scored, that's exactly what McTominay did. He had the burst power to get through. And he's also, if he loses the ball, he's got to get into that interior area between Delo and Maguire. Delo cannot commit to a challenge unless the number 8 is in between him and the centre-back, or you will get killed. And I don't think that Amrabat has the running power to do either of these things. So if you play Amrabat and Kobe, one of them has got to do that job for this system to work. I don't think we put that on Kobe because it means he takes less touches on the ball. As if you look at Alejandro, Bruno, Shaw, Lindelof and Kobe, they're going to be the ones that are circulating the ball. Amrabat's not going to touch the ball. If you look at the game against Chelsea, Mason Mount, who I think is a good player and is a good ball player, he had something like 12 touches in the first half because he's playing the box-to-box role. And in actual fact, The reason I believe that we signed Mason Mount is if we go back here, not to these boys, if we go back here, I think that Ten Hag signed Mason Mount because he believes that both Bruno and Mason Mount have the running power to play the box-to-box role, so that if we go to the right-hand side, Bruno can play it, and if we go to the left-hand side, Mount can play it, and it makes us more unpredictable. I believe on paper, that is what Ten Hag was doing when he signed Mason Mount. Mr. B.
Also, I think in the stats department, we're third now in the league at turnovers high up in the pitch, behind Chelsea and another team. So turning the ball over high up in the final third, with what Mount and Bruno and McTominay are supposed to do, we're still being quite effective with that. Just not creating chances from it so much. But yeah, get well soon, Mason Mount, and hopefully we can see the best of him.
Mr. B, do you have any comments on
one
this?
more? Yep, sorry. Team selection, lack imagination. McTominay has been there for years. He's not it. Let's play passing midfield, not a running one. Back four, Reg, Shaw, Varane, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. A new team that can keep the ball. But Malaki Singh saying sell McTominay in January. Well, I mean, go on.
Sorry, to go to King T'Challa's comment.
Yeah.
The only team that have really challenged Manchester City were Liverpool. Liverpool played this. Henderson played that number 8 role. Like that, no team that plays like the way Man City play have managed to beat them at their own game.
Yeah.
The only one were Liverpool. And McTominay's playing in a different position before. I think he's a good number 6. He's not great at passing the ball. I understand. He's not great at receiving. Like when you look at Mainoo's ability to take the ball with like the angles and so on, that boy is going to get further up the pitch because that's an elite skill. But McTominay in that Amrabat role where you see those arrows, he is making our team tick at the moment. Like I'm afraid he's going to be in the team for a while now because these runs are allowing us to score on the right-hand side consistently, and that hasn't happened for 10 years. It's more about how we cover him.
Yeah.
No, Mr. B?
No, yeah, I agree. I don't, as I said, I understand his role. I understand what he does. I just don't think it's suitable for
like
everything.
Do you?
No, I don't. I think Mason Mount could probably do his role. I just don't think he's technically good enough. That's all. He's running.
Absolutely fair enough.
His running power. You can't deny his effort, his ability, but there's stuff in his game that he lacks that I feel should be more important for a central midfielder to have. That's all. But he plays the role perfect. He plays the role exactly how Ten Hag wants him to play. But is this a slight on Ten Hag? Then you've got a player playing in a position and you've got nobody in the team or you haven't built it so that the team covers that position when he goes, if you see what I mean. So there's a lot of things. Yeah, granted, he's found one part, but he hasn't found the system to protect the runner and the space of the stuff that McTominay's doing. You know what I mean? So that's more where I'm worried.
Can I just add, Michael Owen, he had a great interview with Simon Jordan the other day, and he was saying that a lot of Premiership players these days are not good enough. They're just athletic. Back in his day, he said you need to be a more complete player. He compared Haaland. He said if he's played for Man City or if Owen was playing for Man City, he scores equal amount of goals, or Omri would do the same as well. So what he's basically saying here, what we're saying, McTominay, Mr. B said McTominay, he's got good running power, but he hasn't got the technical ability. Whereas in the past, Owen was saying to be a Premiership footballer, you need to be a complete player, be the total package. So have the technical ability with the running power. You think of players like Gerrard, Brian Robson, that kind of thing. You know, even like players like Tim Sherwood or Andy Townsend, good players, good work rate, but their technical ability as well. So he's suggesting that people to be in the Premiership now, you maybe just have to do a specific job and let's just be an athlete. And that's what we're seeing with Scott McTominay. I don't know how true that is, but it's just a really good talking point that we can discuss maybe later in the next few weeks.
Yeah, like no, I agree. Like there are huge limitations to McTominay's game, and they mainly involve the ball, which it sounds counterproductive, doesn't it? Because a footballer, by definition, it is a footballer. But I promise you, if Delot and Shaw can play inside more, we will score less goals, and with McTominay on the pitch, you'll score more goals. And
So you
then
mean we concede less? You mean?
we'll concede less and we'll score more. Right. So this is how with the with people that wanted Amrabat in, this would be ideally how we would play, where you can see Kobe and Amrabat are not on the same lines. We don't occupy all of the spaces because of the fullbacks' inabilities to play inside. So you can see, like, once again, on an attacking play, the interior is completely empty because Rashford's going to hug that way. Like, that's what he's going to be told to do. And Delot and Shaw are not good inside. And this is going to lead to a very big problem, which is this. Newcastle United play an out-to-in press. So, they play an in-to-out press, which means that they want to win the ball in wide areas. And then when they win it in wide areas, they cross it in for a goal. With a team predominantly of right-footers, OMONDI, who do you think is the most likely target in that team, in our team?
Luke Shaw.
Absolutely. Luke Shaw is the free man. And because we're not able to hit it out left, if they go man-to-man against us, the number 2, the number 6, the number 8, and the number 7 are going to all converge on Luke Shaw. And the 10 and the 11 are going to be the ones that are going to score. In my opinion.
Let's hope those players aren't the ones who score tomorrow then. Or it proves you right.
Well,
no, I don't want to.
Amrabat shouldn't be starting, that's for sure. Especially when we highlight this as well. A lot of people want him in, like you say, but this sort of is a good indicator as to why maybe he shouldn't be playing and why McTominay should. You made a great point, and it's not purposely trying to be pro McTominay on here. There's a comment here from Kinshala saying you should discuss this with Ricky from TUS, whatever, about Scott, because he's never heard such support for him. But it's like people say, he's only had 8 touches in the game and all that kind of thing. But I think you've really detailed and pointed it out why, at the moment, with the squad we have, the players we have, Scott McTominay is the most effective player to do all that work running, as we saw against Galatasaray, and the chances created running in that space there, and the improvement on the right-hand side. That is something that's really key. You predicted this a long time ago, but to see it illustrated like here on these graphics here, it makes it even more in your face. So yeah, I appreciate this. This is good work, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, like I've had a couple of drinks. I'm not gonna lie, and I went a bit too over in the tactics. I understand that people don't like I understand people don't like tactics. It's very nerdy and stuff. Myself and OMONDI and Mr. B, I don't think that any of us have coaching badges, despite Mr. B's soirees at St. George's Park, hobnobbing with all your favourite coaches. But the thing is, right, is that with players like McTominay, it must confuse a lot of people that they always get picked. He becomes first choice with every manager, and yet all of us see like problems in his game and think he's poor on the ball and stuff. His job is not to be on the ball; it's to do this, and this is what like Henderson did. This is actually quite a lot of what De Bruyne does, to be honest. But obviously, he provides more quality in the final third than like McTominay will, even though McTominay might score more goals than him this season. But I don't think Amrabat can do this. And I think that this is why you're going to see a lot more of McTominay. And I know no one likes him outside of me and OMONDI. I know it. We're not doing it for attention. I hope that this illustrates to all of you, like, McTominay makes the team tick when he plays in this role, literally just running between the fullback and the centre-back. And watch it tomorrow against Newcastle United. You'll see Aaron Wan-Bissaka underlapping. You'll see much more chances coming. And it's essentially because some of us overestimate what you want in a football match and underestimate what you don't want in a football match. And I think, Mr. B, what's that? Yeah. I can hear your stomach rumbling from here. It's like a Richter scale. Like people get worried about tsunamis. You see him without what's that Italian cake called? Sounds similar. I've forgotten it now.
I don't know.
Tia Maria or something. Well, that's a rebel comment, isn't it? Right, boys, what you got to say?
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I mean, guys, hope you're enjoying this. If you're watching it, hopefully we can see this highlighted on the pitch. Transfer this because this is what the players will be going through all week, discussing this in detail. We can see now. I mean, we've all qualified here after a year and plus of Ten Hag football. What we might not be able to produce the goods, but we know we can see from the players and how he sets up what we want to achieve. And I think McTominay's a key player in this, as Bath Times highlighting here, and with his running power and the balance he gives us and protection he might give us. We still need to tweak a few things, still need some better quality players, especially the fullback position, if they are going to be coming in to that midfield area to be able to receive the ball. But otherwise, I think we're on the right path, and it's good to illustrate this. And you can, when I'm arguing with people who are always cussing us at the moment, I'm saying I'm quite happy. They say, why are you so happy? I said, well, I can see we are sort of slowly heading in the right direction. So big up to Bath Time, big up Mr. B, and big up everyone in the comments. And hopefully we will demonstrate this on the pitch tomorrow.
Wicked. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Thank you to Mr. B.
As always, thank you, Bath Time, man. It's as I said, tactics aren't my most favorite, but you've got them. I'm now beginning to understand them. Look, as I said, we try to educate on the channel. You know, this was a long one, granted, and the fact that a lot of you are still here watching and trying to grasp what Bath Time's talking about, guaranteed when the game is played tomorrow, you're going to be looking at certain things on the screen and thinking, oh. So, you know, Bath Time, thank you, man.
My pleasure.
Are we done? I think we are, innit,
so.
guys?
Just quickly, right. King Charles keeps saying it. McTominay's in our midfield. This is the reason we will never compete for highest honours. It's not his fault. He finds a way into the team. We've got problems. So this is that. PK Wilson's very respectful. He's saying here, thanks, guys. Special thanks to Bath Time. Because he's saying earlier, he said, I've seen this happen too many times with United. He gets it. Now I get it. Thanks, Bath Time. Big up to Lucky Singh as well, talking about Maguire. Evans needs to be more physical tomorrow, which is probably true if they're playing.
Oh, well, we'll see. But guys, we will be back tomorrow at some stage. We will try and do a watch along. If not, we will definitely be back for a midnight reaction show by the time that game finishes, to be fair, in it bloody 8 o'clock kickoff. So look, guys, just hit the notification bell, and yeah, we will see you tomorrow. I'm trying to find this bloody. Oh, here we go, guys. We're out. Talk to you tomorrow.
Good night.
Bye.